We all live. I put it on. I'm looking at us. Oh. Okay, there we go. It just didn't pop up. I'm looking at us. Oh yeah, we good. All right. We good. I just heard myself. I'm for ENESIS, they know what I mean. All right. Shalom Israel, Shalom Yabashim Yashab Rakatham to the brothers, Shalom Yahal Shema Bashim Yashab to the sisters. We, the ISUPK Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, sought out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana, and we are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group. Now, today we're going to be going over a couple of things. It's going to be the book of Genesis, chapter 11. We're going to go verses 1 through 9. We're also going to continue past that, go over chapter 12, somewhat of chapter 12. It's about I got it. Don't worry. All right, do it. Yeah, that's a long class. Yeah. All right. So with that being said, a medium, just me and the brother up here.
Layashala, which means to Israel. Amajim Wapanyan Hakadam, which means to rise and face the east. We'll be doing the prayers in the Hebrew and then English. Repeat after me. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shamka. Yahweh. Malak Wafka. Daba'ah. Ratazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Ba'aratazah. Kawa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Nathan Lanawa. Lakam. Call. Yawam. Wasalak Lanawa. Kabawaf Nawa. Kasalak Nawa. Kabawaf Yanawa. Wala'ah. Dabaya Anawa. Banasayawan, Abal, Habashai Nawa, Mayan, Right, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wahatapa Arath, La'ai Walamium, Amon.
Now in the English, our
Father,
which art in heaven,
hallowed
be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name. Yahweh.
Thy kingdom come.
That will be done
in earth.
As
it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread.
Forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
Amen. This is Hakak, the power in the Hebrew, Yahweh. Ba'asham. Yahweh Shah. Ba'ukashah. Shatan Lanawa. Hakak. Larpa'ah. Kal Maka'allah. Wakal Madawa. Hakak. Latahar.
Tahar,
Hamatazariah,
Hamatazariah,
Akak,
Akak,
Lahakoyim,
Laquan,
Hamathim,
Hamath,
Akak,
Akak,
Al-Rakawath,
Arawak,
Hatama'ala,
Tama'ala,
Lagar Shun, Ba'asham,
Ba'asham,
Yahushua, Go Wada, Aman,
Aman. Now in the English, Yahweh. In
Yahweh,
the name of Yahushua.
in the name of Yahushua,
Please
please
give us the power.
give us the power
Power to heal.
the power to heal
All manner of sickness.
all manner of sickness
And all manner of disease.
and all manner of disease,
The power to cleanse the lepers.
the power to cleanse the lepers,
The power to raise the dead.
the power to raise the dead,
The power against unclean
the
spirits.
power against unclean spirits,
To cast them out.
to cast them out
In the name of Yahushua.
in the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. This is the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh.
Why Yahushua,
Why Yahushua.
Why Ma'aka Allah,
Why
Why Lahayim,
Lahayim.
Matazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana,
Alawap Yahana.
Halawapyam,
Alawapim.
Hasaranyam,
Hasaranyam.
Hakwatazayonyam,
Hakwatazayonyam.
Hasayonyam,
Hakayayonyam.
Waha Awakyam,
Wafim.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Ba'asham,
Ba'asham.
Yahushua,
Yahushua.
Go Wada,
Wada.
Aman.
Amen. Now in the English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh,
And Yahushua.
and Yahushua,
And Michael.
and Michael,
And the angel.
and the angels,
Commander General Yohanan.
Commander General Yohanan,
The generals.
the general,
The captains.
the captains,
The officers.
the officers,
The troopers.
troopers,
And the sisters.
and the sisters,
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
in the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. Psalms 121 in Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, All, Mahariam, Mayan, Yaba'ah, Azoya, Azoya, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'aratazah, Al Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al Yanawam, Shamarka, Hanah, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shabarka, Yahweh, Tazarka, Al Yad, Yanyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Bakal, Rai, Yashamar, Afna Pashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza Afka, Wabawa Aka, Ma'aita, Wa'ait, Aiwalam.
I will alone. Now in the English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help
My help
coming from the Lord.
coming from the Lord,
Which made heaven
which made heaven
and earth.
and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth
shall
Israel
neither slumber
shall neither slumber
nor sleep.
nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade
The Lord is thy shade
upon thy right hand.
upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee.
The Lord shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming in.
From this time forth.
From this time forth
and even
forevermore. Forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim,
Alahayim.
Al Dama Yalaka,
All done yellow
Al Taka Arash,
all like a rush.
Wa Al Tasha Kwat,
All that's a quack.
All,
All.
Kayahana,
Kayana.
O Wayabyaka,
Our Yabika.
Yahama Yawan,
Yahama one.
Ra'ash,
Ah.
Al Aimaka,
Alama.
Ya Ira Yamwa,
Yum.
Sawada,
Sawada.
Wayatha, Ya
Why?
Atazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa,
More.
Lakawa,
Wow.
Wana Kakiram,
Wakaki.
Magaya,
God.
Wala A,
Wala.
Yazakar,
Yazakar.
Shum,
Shum.
Yasha'ala,
Yasha'ala.
Awada,
Awada.
Kaya,
Kaya.
Nawa Atazawa,
Nawa.
Naba,
Naba.
Yakadwa,
Kadwa.
Alyaka,
Alyaka.
Bariyah,
Bariyah.
Yakarathwa,
Rafa.
Ahoya,
Ahoy.
Adawam,
One.
Why,
Wow.
Yashamai,
Shemai.
Alayam,
Alayam.
Bawa Abba, Wahagaria,
Wahagaria.
Gabal,
Ball.
Wama One,
Wow.
Wama Lak,
Wow.
Palashat,
Palashat.
Ain Yashabda,
Ain Yashab.
Taza War,
Taza War.
Gamasha War,
Gamash.
Nalawa,
Wow.
Amam, Hayawab, Zarawat, Labunya,
Bunya.
Lawat, Salah,
Salah.
Aisha,
Aisha.
Nahum, Kamadya, Kasaya,
Kasaya.
Sara'ah,
Sarah.
Kayabyan,
Kayabi.
Banakal,
Banakal.
for Yashwan,
One.
Nashamawa,
Nashab. Mwa.
Bayan,
Bayan.
Dara,
Dara.
Hayawa,
Hayawa.
Daman,
Daman.
La Dama, Shatamwa,
Shatamwa.
Nada,
Nada.
Yamawa,
Yamawa.
Kaira,
Kaira.
Wakaza Abba,
Kaza.
Wakaza Bak,
Kaza.
Wakaza Zarmanat,
Zarmanat.
Call,
Call.
Nasa Yakabwa,
That's a Yakuma.
Ashar,
Ashar.
Amarwa,
Oh.
Naira Rasha,
Mayarasha.
Lanawa,
Nanawa.
Ah,
Ah.
Nawa,
Nawa.
Alahayam,
Alahayam.
Alahaya,
Alahaya.
Shatamwa,
Shatamwa.
Kagagala,
Gagala.
Kakwash,
Kwash.
Lapunya,
Lapunya.
Rawaka, Ka'ash, Daiba Ira, Ya Ira, Wa, Kalahaba, Dalahat, Hoyer, Kun, Dawa Dapma, Masa Irika, Wabasa, Wapaka, Dawa Halam, Mala'a, Kunyahum, Kuala One, Waya, Bakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Ayai, Waya, Kapara, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Dawa, Kaya, Ata, Shamka, Yahawa, Labaka, Aliwan, Alcohol, Ha'arataza.
Now in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O God.
O God.
For
For lo,
thine enemies make atonement.
Thine enemies make atonement.
They that hate thee.
And they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
Have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people.
Against thy people.
And consulted.
Against
thy hidden ones.
Against thy hidden ones.
They have said. Come
and
let us cut them off.
And let us cut them off
from being a nation.
That
the name of Israel.
That the name of Israel.
May be no more remembrance.
For
they have consulted together.
With
one consent.
They
are confederate against thee.
The
tabernacles of Edom.
And
the Ishmaelites.
And the Israelites.
Of
Moab.
And the
Hagarenes. Gabal.
And
Ammon. And Amalek.
The
Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also was joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them. As to the Midianites. As to Sisera. As to Jabin. At the brook of Kison. Which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red. And like Zaid. Yea. All their princes. As Zabah. And as Amunja. Who said. Let us take to ourselves. The houses of God. In possession. Oh my God. Make them like a wheel. As the stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth the wood. And as the flame set the mountains on fire. So persecute them. With thy tempest. And make them afraid. With thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. That they may seek thy name. O Lord. Let them be confounded. And troubled. Forever. Yea. Let them be put to shame. And perish. That men may know. That thou. Whose name alone. Is Yahweh. Art the most high. Over all the earth. Sorry, it's me. All right, you may be seated. All right, so we're gonna be going over the book of Genesis, chapter 11. As you already know, we go over the first 7 verses in the Hebrew. Priest and Officer Alatazar is going to be doing the first 7 verses in Hebrew, and then we'll give a breakdown in the English. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe.
All right, this is the book of Genesis, the 11th chapter, the first verse in the Hebrew. Wayahaya, Kal, Ha'aratazah, Shapah, Akath, Wadah, Baryam, Akadayam, Wayahaya, Banasayam, Makwadam, Wayam, Tazah, Awa, Bakwa Iha, Ba'aratazah, Shanara, Waya, Shabwa, Shum, Waya Amarwa, Ayash, Al, Ra'ahaya, Habaha, Nala, Bana, Labanyam, Wanash, Rapah, Lasha, Rapah, Watahaya, Lahum, Hal, Bana, La'aban, Wachamar, Haya, Lahum, Lachamar, Waya Amar, Habaha, Nabana, Lanawa, Shum, Pana, Napawataza, Al, Panya, Kal, Ha'arataza, Waya Rada, Yahweh, Lara'ath, Aitha, Ha'ayar, Wa'atha, Hamagadal, Ashar, Banwa, Banya, Ha'adam, verse 6, Waya Amar, Yahweh, Hana, Aim, Akkad, Washapah, Akath, Lakalam, Wazah, Hakah, Lum, La'ai, Shawath, Wa'atha, La'a, Yabatazar, Maham, Kal, Ashar, Yazamawa, La Ashawath. Verse 7, Habah, Waradab, Wanabal, Shum, Shapatham, Ashar, La'a, Yashamaiwa, Ayash, Shapath, Ra'ahawa, Wayapatazah, Yahweh, Atham, Masham, Al, Punya, Kal, Ha'aratazah, Waya, Kal, Dawa, Labanatha, Ha'ayar, Al, Khan, Kora'ah, Shema, Babal, Kaya, Shum, Yahweh, Shapath, Kal, Ha'aratazah, Wamasham, Hapayah, Tazam, Yahweh, Al, Punya, Kal, Ha'aratazah.
Stop it up. You score.
Oh, okay. Young man is running. Oh, no, man.
We can't call that young man no more.
Abide ya Allah.
Most High in Christ. So we're going to be starting with the book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 1.
It's like y'all putting a little bit of this frankincense and myrrh up in here. Get it smelling right. Get it feeling right. Set the mood. Yeah, good right there. Right there. That's good. Let's go to the book of Genesis, the 11th chapter, if I may. So we did not go over Genesis 10. Genesis 10 is called the Table of the Nations. The reason why we will skip some chapters and verses is because of the reading in Hebrew. If it was a regular class, we would just do it. But because this is a Sabbath service, we have to read in Hebrew. And in Hebrew, to give a lesson, you need to have something that's a lesson. But there's really no lesson for us to give you about brothers being born to other brothers or men being born to other men. You can just read that on your own. If you have any questions, you can ask us online. You can hit us up. Some of you have our numbers. If you don't, just call the school. We'd be happy to answer any question you have.
Genesis 10 is just pretty much going over the generations after Shem, Ham, and Japheth. That's all that is. It just goes through the lineage of who was born after them. Just for time's sake, like you said, we're not going to go over that right now because it's just the lineage. That's all it is. So, but we will get into Genesis 11.
All right. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech.
Now, this is pretty straightforward. As you know, today, different people speak different languages, communicate with their people in certain ways. Certain dialects derive from others. For example, sadly, through the transatlantic slave trade, you have a lot of our so-called Hispanic or Latino brothers and sisters who speak either Spanish or Portuguese, depending on where you are in South America, because obviously they came down here and conquered. You also have the Haitians, who are the Levites in the Bible. They speak Haitian Creole, which actually derives from French. Again, another European language. Of course, we speak English, so on and so forth. But every nation now today has their own language.
Right.
But there was a time where we all were able to communicate with each other through the same language at one time. This is what we're going over right now. So we're going to go over what happened to change everything and why it happened. You got anything before we continue?
If anybody would know, you probably do know, but the reason why everybody spoke the same language, and it was the Hebrew language, you can just look that up. The reason why it was the same language was because everybody at that time came from Noah. At that time, everybody was speaking Hebrew. At that time. Now, again, like you said, fast forward now, we're in it. We're in the confounding of the languages. We're already in it. You have to always, when we're reading Genesis, you have to always understand, and when we're reading this Bible, all these things are in the past. So you're in it. You're a product of what happened already in the Bible. So now you have to transfer your mind to that time. You have to make it make sense. You have to be logical. So anything that you can apply back then, you should be able to apply it now. because there's no such thing as magic, no such thing as an illusion. Everything is logic. Everything in science. It's like verse 2. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. With this Shinar, so if you look up an old map, it'll show you the land of Ham, the land of Shem, the land of Japheth. So pretty much Ham was, let's say, lower west. Shem would be somewhat in the middle, and Japheth would be above Shem in the tents of Shem. So when you're looking at Shinar, Shinar would be one of the furthermost eastern cities or eastern land masses of Shem. That's a Shemitic land. That land today would be pretty much most of Iraq, I believe northern Kuwait, and western Iran. So just look on a map and look at Iraq today. Look at the northernmost tip of Kuwait and the most westernest part of Iran. That's where you get Shinar. Shinar, at that time, the main city in Shinar that was changed because we didn't go over them, but Nimrod took over that land, and that became Babylon. That's what we're reading about now. Babylon would be the main city of Shinar at that time. It's like, what was it? Verse 3. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. If I may, don't look at these people as though they're primitive. These people aren't primitive. These people know, they know engineering at this point. How do I know? You can go back to Genesis, or what it was, 4th chapter, I believe, or 3rd chapter, when I think it's 4th, when Cain built a city. After his son, Enoch, after his son Enoch. Well, it was Cain and a bunch of other men. They built the city. How do you build a city? Agriculture, engineering, teaching, learning. Remember, Cain's grandsons, they dwelt in welding. They dwelt in music. You can look all that up. It'll tell you right then and there. How else do we know that these people had some type of engineering, some type of architect? Not only does it say brick and mortar or in slime and stone, think about Noah. Noah built the whole ark. He had to have some knowledge of how to build an ark. He had to have some knowledge of a foot, of a cubit. These aren't primitive, man. Don't let the world don't let Esau displace your mind and let you think they just learned fire that day like they were cavemen.
Yeah, if I could, yeah, that's I'm not sure if anybody was ever taught this. I know it was taught in my school. They make you believe that we as human beings are derived from monkeys. Yeah, it's like the whole evolution theory. Yeah, no, apes are their own species. It's like how cows, bulls, lizards, alligators, all that, own species. We are a separate kind of being. Right. So there was no, a million years ago, you was an orangutan. Like that's not how it was. Like, no. Like I just want to throw that out there real quick because, like you said, yeah, no, we already had somewhat of an understanding of agriculture, living off the land, right? Building. That's what we do. Right. People build. I mean, think about it. You can go outside. You can we in a building. Right. You can go look anywhere. Any and every civilization to some extent has built their civilization. Right. Houses, gates, some form of travel. Right. So be it, logistics. Yeah, that's all I got for that. Yeah, don't read this Bible and think people are stupid. Don't think you're the smartest person on earth as well. These people have knowledge. They have understanding. They know what to do. They know how to build a city. A city has people in it. It's not just 3 people. These are families inside of this city, a fortress. These people know how to do these things. So do not think that Esau, when they show you a video, it's so easy. The caveman can do it. Where they just made a wheel for the first time. Oh yeah. That's been done. That's already been done pre-flood. So now we're post-flood. Sorry. Verse 4. And they said,
Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
So, okay. At this time, yes, it's going to get into a little bit more. I don't want to say it just yet, because we will get to it. So again, at this time, how can I say this? Yeah, at once, because this is this is before Israelites were born.
Right.
Understand, this is before Jacob. This is before Isaac. Okay, this is actually before Abram. Right. Abram, he's I'm not really giving it away, but just so you know, because we're not going to read that part. In 11 and 26, his father was Terah, and who begat Abram. So before Abraham, it was Abram. So this is before all that. We're focused solely on Shem. But as we read prior, I believe in Genesis 9, 26 and 27, it's already stated that God is the Lord. I'm paraphrasing. God is the Lord of Shem. So, but at this time, everybody came from Noah, like you said. In a sense, we were all, I guess you could say, one people in a sense, right? But God still had a favorite. It was still Shem.
Right.
But we're all communicating with each other. We all speak one language. There was no division yet, right? So at this time, the people, let me see, built a city and a tower, going over what we just said earlier, agriculture. What's the other? It's not agriculture. It's
engineering.
Not engineering. What is it when they build houses? Architecture. Yeah. So we're already doing this. Just so you're clear, we already have the capability of building buildings and towers and stuff of that nature. And it says, whose top may reach unto heaven. So use your imagination. This is a very high building, a very high tower, which means that it took time to build this. And it says, let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. At this time period, okay, how do I word this? We as a people recognized that if we do not do this, that there is going to come a time where we are going to be separate. It's just natural. People, you look at it today, of course, we all come from different nations now. This is pre that, but you want to be with your people. Or let's say you have your clique, you have your friend group, and you start to kind of go off to the side. At this time, we all want to be under one body, if that makes sense. At this time period. You got anything before we continue?
Hold on, sir. Let us build a city and a tower. Now, remember, I just told you in the land of Shinar, now these people aren't dumb. The land was already separated. It was already Ham's land, Shem's land, Japheth's land. But now somebody is taking over. Who is taking over this land? Ham. What would be the son of Ham? Cush, Canaan, Mizraim. From Canaan, you get Nimrod. No, is he Cush? Nimrod, Cushite? It's in 8.
Nimrod comes from, Cush.
So now Nimrod is over this particular city in this land, right? He was a mighty hunter. If you look up the Hebrew in that, he revolts against the Lord. He goes against the Lord. So Nimrod has his land. Now the city that he's building, which is going to be, think about the Vatican City today. The Vatican City is the capital city of the world. It's a city and state. That is the Vatican. So back then, at this time, again, nothing is new. Nothing is new. So again, at this time, Babylon right now is the biggest city on earth. It's the main city of the earth. Just think of the Vatican. Everybody goes here. There's already cities. There's already cities being made, but this city in particular is the head city. This is where everything will come from. Why? Because just like prior, there were renowned men on the earth. When you read that in Genesis the 6th chapter, famous men on the earth back then. Well, it's the same spirit right now. A renowned and famous man on the earth now, but this guy decides to rebel against God. The tower that they built, just imagine a tower. What is a tower? A tower is nothing more than a tall building. What else is a tall building? A pyramid. What else is a tall building? A skyscraper. There's nothing new under the sun. The only difference between these things are what you put in them and what you make them with. Back then they didn't have steel, or we don't know for sure, but it says brick and mortar. But now you can make a skyscraper out of steel, right? This is just a big, tall tower. And I don't know how tall it was. It does not say. But just imagine a city. Imagine,
think of like a capital,
right?
Like that.
What Chicago? The World Trade Center, not the World Trade Center. Sears Tower.
Yeah,
that's the tallest building in Chicago. I think like maybe the third or fourth tallest building in the world. Think about something of that nature. And these guys are trying to make Ham is running this now at this point in time. Remember, Ham was supposed to be a servant. What is Ham doing right now? He is revolting. He is saying he does what he always does. He rebels. Who wants to be a servant? Who wants to sit there and serve somebody the whole time? Ham knows, and the descendants of Ham, they know that they were supposed to be servants to Shem and Japheth. Servant of a servant you shall be. Eventually, the servant gets tired of serving. So what does he do? He rebels. So now he's trying to reach up to heaven. What does he know that Esau knows now? If you control space, you control the earth. If you control the top, you control the bottom. That's basic physics. That's basic science. That's basic logic. Do not think that this is cartoonish. Just think how people think. Think about greed and capitalism and rulership and authority. You want to be at the top, so what? You can look down on everybody else. So there's building this tower to the heavens so they can be seen as God, so they can be seen as a God. But again, he's fighting. He's fighting against his natural, I don't want to go too deep into it, but his natural state. He is made to be a servant. Think about Africa now. Now, again, these are Africans. These are Hamites. Think about it now. Africa is war-torn. Africa is full of rebellion. Africa is ran by the Dutch, the French, the Americans, the Chinese, whoever else you could think of runs Africa. Africa is rebellion against those people. And then a new regime comes up, and guess what? It rebels against an old regime, and it rebels against everything else, and now it's war-torn. Why do you think that country or that continent is looking like that? Why do you think it's built like that? Everyone has a piece of Africa. Everyone. Why? Because it's a servant of a servant. Not only are they rebelling against their natural order, they're rebelling against God. He's a rebel. All right, Mr. Dave, I see you. It is heavy. The water, Most High in Christ. But it is heavy when you think about it. Think about Africa right now. It's war-torn. They are going through it every day. A new regime takes over, they go to war. A new regime takes over, they go to war. Right? Because they're not fit to be leaders. Their design is not to be rulers. Their design is not to be leaders. The Lord knew that, and that's why we're going to get into it. That's why he took down the tower. They're fighting against their natural selection. You can't fight against God. And they've been finding that out over and over. Guess what, Israel? Same thing. You can't fight against God. Mm-hmm. You've been finding it out your whole life. You keep fighting against God, and where are you at? You're at the bottom. Quit fighting against God. Just do what he says. Everything else will go swell. Everything else will go as planned. Everything. And if I may, let us make us a name. Why do they want a name? Why do these people want a name? Because here's what they know. They know they are nothing to God. How do they know they're nothing to God? Because they were cursed. You think they don't have those records of Noah cursing their forefather? Their patriarch Ham? They know they are nothing to God. You can read that in 2 Ezra 6:54. They know that. They know they are like spittle. So if you're nothing to God, what should you be? You should be something to man. That is why they wanted to build it to the sky. Nothing new is under the sun. You think Esau doesn't know he's nothing to God? He knows God hates them. That's why most atheists really are Edomites. Why? Because they know they know nothing about God, and God doesn't want anything to deal with them or to do with them because they know their crimes. So if you can't be nothing to God, you might as well be something to man. It's like it.
Go to
5.
Yeah, go to 5.
Verse 5. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded.
Okay, so now we're going over how all these things are going on, and the Lord obviously is observing everything. So you're gonna start to see through these next few verses what the Most High does, and we're also gonna break down why He does what He does.
Right.
All right. Let's just go to what you got before you go.
I was just gonna say, I was gonna talk about how the Lord actually came down. He didn't. The Lord's not actually coming down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yeah, we got to break that down. Okay, we put it like this. Right. The Lord's not a genie.
Right.
It's not like the Lord actually He flew down on His angel wings. And, no, that's not what it is. Like the Lord is always watching.
Right.
Always. He has an angel over everyone, observing everything. He has His workers. We broke this down, I think, way earlier on. We talked about the creation and think of the Most High as the CEO.
Right.
And then He has all His employees. You think the Most High alone is about to just build everything? No, He's going to send His workers. He'll give them the blueprint. They're the ones that are going to be, okay, you know what? He wants it like this, boom, boom, boom. They get it done, bring it back to Him. Hey, I did this. Or they might pitch an idea. Oh, how would you like it like this? It's just a system. That's all it is. So when it says the Lord came down to see the city, He didn't actually physically come down. He's just observing. He's always watching, but He's recognizing, okay, this is what's going on right now. And we're going to get into what happens and why it happens.
Right.
So, you got anything?
And if I may, I would like to hit him with a precept. Right. You got to think about also in Genesis earlier when the Lord came down to see what Adam and Eve were doing. Mm-hmm. The Lord didn't come down. There's a way that the Lord comes down. Let's get Job. Let's go to Job. I want one of them. Let's start at 2. I think I want Job 2. Yep, let's go. Let's start at Job 1 and 6. Now, this is a whole different breakdown, but it's the same exact thing. I do not want to get deep into this breakdown.
No.
Now, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. So here's what's happening. The Lord is having a council. Now, if you don't know, Satan works for the Lord. It said the angels came to the Lord. Satan came with them. Satan's an angel. Common sense. Verse 7. And the Lord said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down in it. That's the point I wanted to make. Satan, an angel, coming from the ladder of Jacob, is coming from heaven, coming to earth. Coming from earth, going to heaven. That's how they travel. How do you think the Lord sees you? You think the Lord, one, He's omnipresent, so He's in you. But do you think the Lord is actually watching you? No. Just imagine you live in a community, right? Heaven is just one big old community. Community of the Lord, Christ, and a bunch of angels, and some elders and people who work for Him. That's what heaven is, right? The same thing you do, they do. Same way you have a job, a boss, same way the angels have a job, a boss, right? The Lord has people watching you. The Lord has angels watching you. Imagine you tell your child or your homeboy, your wife, I see everything that you do. Do you actually see everything that they do? No. But guess what? Your friend who's your neighbor, if you're not home, he's watching. Those school teachers that you have, they're watching. That principal that you have on speed dial, he's watching your child. This is how the Lord sees you, the same way you see everybody else. I see you all the time. You don't know that I got people watching you. So everything you do, the Lord sees. This is another lesson. This is another point I didn't even think about. That's why it says everything that's done in dark will come to light. Why? Because it's going to be shown, because you're doing it. And the Lord will reveal it in time. He's going to reveal it in time. These people was building this tower, this city. This didn't happen in one day. This is throughout time. Do not read this Bible as though it happened that day at that moment at times. No, sometimes it's just not going to give you that. I don't have to tell you, I met this girl, I went out on a date with her. It takes time to do that. It takes time to build a city. It takes time to build a tower. As they were building this tower up to the heavens, the Lord sent angels down to go see what was going on. And during this time, they go back up to the council and they say, hey, these brothers building a tower. I don't want to get too far.
Yeah, if I could, can you get Psalms 91 and 9?
Psalms 91 and 9.
Yeah, we're going to read to 11. Just to prove something real quick.
Verse 9. Book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 9. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation.
Okay.
There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee.
So it says, for he shall give his angels charge over thee. You can finish the rest of the 11, Bubba Shah? No.
Sir. To keep thee in all thy ways.
So again, it shows, I just want to make sure everybody knows this. We're not making this up when we say, oh, the angels are watching. No, the Most High has an angel watching over you. And these angels make reports on you on a day-to-day basis. Okay, keep that in mind. Because what do we always say? Satan will attack you. We're not going to get too far, but I just want to get this breakdown real quick. Satan loves to attack you when you're alone. Why? Because in your mind, you think you're alone. Like, if everybody was to leave right now and I'm just sitting here by myself, no cameras, no nothing. In my head, I think, oh, I'm alone. Truth is, I'm really not alone. Truth is, you're never really alone.
Right.
Because there's always an angel watching you, because that's what the Lord permitted the angels to do.
Right.
Satan's going to try to attack you when you're the most vulnerable. It's all in your head.
Right.
Oh, I'm alone now. Now I can smoke weed.
Right.
No one has to know. I could smoke cigarettes. Oh my gosh, I think it was, he kind of revealed himself. It was on Captain Tazariak's radio, and it was the LGBTQ Israelite. I don't know. Yeah, and he oh yeah. He said, I'm not making this up. This is wild. He said that he can prove through the scriptures that he can sleep with a transformer. Now, this is something that I've noticed though. So I think I commented on some brother's page, and then I happened to see like this link that somebody sent me. I had to block the dude. I found out it's that same dude, and I looked. Oh yeah, I looked. Now he's saying the same thing. I recognize the voice, right? But I noticed something. He didn't show his face. He couldn't show his face. Yeah, but he's saying the same thing, but he can't show his face. Why? Because Satan's over him. He doesn't want to reveal to you who he is, because as long as you don't know what he looks like, he feels like he's safe. It's like how when you feel like you're alone, you feel like you're safe. I can sin now. No one's going to see me.
Right.
I don't got to see you. He don't got to see you. Commander General Yohana don't got to see you. Captain Gadalhar, Tabuan, Karatazar, Natazar, they don't got to see you. The generals ain't got to see you, because the Lord sees you. Okay? You can try to hide the wickedness all you want. The Lord sees you because the angels see you. So my point being is, because I don't want to get too far off, take this into consideration when you are facing Satan when you're alone, because it happens to all of us. It's going to happen. And you have a choice. You have a choice. Either you can stay righteous, even when nobody's watching, or you can sin. Now, if you do choose to sin, all I can say to you is, Lord be with you. Because what the Most High chooses to do with you after that, entirely up to him. Right. And it could be, you might get a slap on the wrist. Okay. It might be 5 times, you still might get a slap on the wrist. Then, I don't know, you might lose a job. I don't know. You might get into a car crash. Right. You might get beat up at the bar. I don't know. Something's going to happen to you. Best thing I can tell you as a priest is, don't ever get into the mindset that, oh, it was just one time. Nothing happened this time. That's crazy. So I can do it again. Because again, Satan attacking, he wants you to keep it up. Form a habit. A habit, a routine. Yeah. So you keep doing it, eventually it's going to catch up to you. You might have done it 100 times, whatever it is that you're doing. Right. Never got caught. 99 times you didn't get caught. But on that 100th time, low pressure. That 100th time, something just happens. You sitting here like, why is this happening to me? The Lord punish you. So I just wanted to, I want everybody to understand that. Before,
if I may, let's expound. This is a heavy topic. Even though we're talking about Genesis, sometimes topics need to be discussed. We don't know why they come up. They just come up. We don't plan them. They just come up during discussion. They come up during my back hurts. It's killing me. Yeah. But anyway, you think, look, we're going to give you just real life examples. You have let's say you go out there and buy prostitutes, and no, you're trying to be official in the school, and you trying to show everybody to serve the Lord, and you con out of one con in, and so forth and so on. You out here trying to buy ladies of the night, right? You might get away with it 3-4 times, 5 times, 6 times. One day the police are gonna pull you over, and you're gonna go to jail, and you're gonna have to call somebody to bail you out. We're gonna ask you, why are you in jail?
Embarrassing.
You know how embarrassing it is? And guess what? Your mugshot will be on the LA County jail site. We're gonna put it up, and we're gonna see what it says. It's gonna say for being a John or a trick. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna hang that picture right on behind us on this wall, and we're gonna show everybody. We're gonna expose you for what you are. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. If you are a sister and you out here going off on your man and doing something nasty and ravishing that you should not be doing, he's going to find out. And you know what's gonna happen to you? You're gonna wind up unalive in a hotel on the bed. That has happened. That has happened. It has happened. Do not think we up here playing with you. Do not think when that oil get poured on your head, this is a joke. This is not a game. This is real life. This is serious business. This is more than just carnality. This is actually spiritual. You have made an oath, and you say, I'm going to do right by you, sir. I'm going to do right by you, Lord. And the day you decide to not do right and to continue to not do right, you will get exposed. We will find out. We will. I'm telling you. And guess what? We saw you. Whole time you didn't think we saw you. We saw you. You know how we saw you? Because it's gonna get revealed to us. You're gonna smoke weed, and one day we're gonna look at your fingernails. One day we're gonna look at your lips. One day we're gonna smell you accidentally. One day a brother's gonna need a ride to the store. He has to get in your car, and your car smells like marijuana. And we're gonna ask you.
It's bound to happen.
It's what happens.
It's gonna come out at Salagi if I could.
Yes, sir.
It always comes out at some point, even before you came into the truth. Let's be real. We're all in the world at one point. You always try. You tried it. We all tried it. You think you're smarter than your parents, right?
Right.
You think you can get away with certain things. And I know for me, it was always, I wasn't born yesterday type stuff. And it's going to come out. And the thing is, what I've learned, it always comes out in a way that you don't expect it. I remember, I was in high school, I think. I was in high school. At the time I ran track, I told my pops, I'm like, oh, I'm staying at the school because I'm about to go run track or whatever. He said, okay. I didn't go run track that day. I went to go hang out with my friends. I want to go hang out with some girls or whatever. I didn't know this. I go home. My dad was cool. I'm thinking nothing wrong. I think it might have been that day or a day later. All of a sudden, he asked me, so what'd you do yesterday? Oh, I ran track. Oh, did you? Oh, so how come when I drove by you, I saw you hanging out with them little girls? And I'm like, huh? Me trying to be stupid. I'm like 14 trying to be stupid and stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, don't lie to me. I wasn't born yesterday. But I had no idea. It just he wasn't looking for me. He just so happened to be driving on that road and seeing me. So I'm just like, dang. That's the same way the Lord is.
Right.
The Lord gonna expose you in a way that you might think like you I don't know, you think you 007 or whatever. You think you just a spy. You good. You can't get caught. And then, like you said, you smoking on a low. We don't gotta see you smoking.
Right.
Like you said, I don't know, like anybody who's been around anybody that smokes cigarettes, it gets in your clothes. It gets in your hair.
Right.
You start to see it on you too. Right? Like your hair start to thin a little bit, eyes be bloodshot. You can see the lips darken a little bit.
Right.
So one day you might just forget. I don't know, you probably take a shower, put on some cologne or whatever before you come around us. It might be that one day you just forget to do it. You forgot your cologne at home, whatever. And next thing you know, you walk by, hey, what is that? Oh, Salaki, sir. And then, you try to lie. Human beings are not designed to lie.
Not designed to lie.
I found that out like years ago. Like you always do, whatever it may be, no matter how subtle it is, everyone does something when they lie. It might be, you look away real quick.
Some type of tip.
Yeah, you can't make eye contact. You fidget with your hands. You tap your foot. Like, it's something that's a giveaway. And you're around long enough, we're going to start to notice them little signs. And be like, I ain't right with that, brother. What's going on here? And then you're going to get questioned. And now that you're being confronted about the sins that you're doing on the low, that's what's going to happen. You're going to try to get defensive.
Right.
When you're defensive, now we're going, what do you mean? I was just asking how your day was. What's going on? Don't do it. Don't be that. And one more thing before we get back to the lesson. It ain't about us. Don't serve man. Don't perform a certain way or carry yourself a certain way because Captain Kadalhar is around,
right?
Or General Hyman is around, or Captain Tazariak is around. You should be righteous 24/7, even when no one is around. Just because the Adawanyam ain't around, don't mean nothing. You at home, you playing the game, whatever. We don't care. You should still be righteous. Still do it because we might not be watching, but the Most High is watching. And we just read it in Psalm 91 in 9 to 11.
Yes.
So that's all I got. I don't want to get too off topic. I just want to understand.
They need to hear that.
Let's see. We'll go. Yeah, Jim, we'll go back.
Live, so they'll do 5 or 6.
Okay. Genesis chapter 11, verse 6.
The book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 6. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they began to do. Salaka. I don't even want to go. Okay. Where do I want to start? Let's go to what's Deuteronomy 7 and 6? Do Deuteronomy 7 and 6. First, before Deuteronomy 7 and 6, back to Genesis 9 and 26. And he said, blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. You got to understand that this is how the Lord wants things to be. He wants people to be separated. That's why he separated Adam. That's why he separated Eve. That's why he separated Cain from Adam and Eve. He didn't want that to mix. That's why he ended the whole earth, because everybody joined together. Everybody was interracial relationships in marriage. Think about it now on a larger scale. Think about rulership. The Lord does not want everybody to come together. Why? Because he knows in the heart of man, every wicked imagination will come to him, because he's only flesh. He will always strive with the Lord. He will always be against the Lord. Because why? Man is just flesh.
There is no good. What's that precept? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
I know you already know what I'm getting at.
Give me the there's no good thing.
Yeah.
How I go?
I got you.
Concert. But yeah, while he's finding it, he understands that man is wicked. That's what man is. You were once wicked until you came into the knowledge of the Lord. Everyone outside of the Lord, guess what? They're just going to do wickedness. Why? Because there is no law that stops them from doing it.
Romans 7 and 18.
There you go. Romans 7 and 18. The book of Romans chapter 7, verse 18. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me. But how to perform that which is good, I find not. Good grief.
Yep.
Good grief.
Meaning what? If I could, I'll just give one example. I ain't gonna take too much of your time. When heathens especially, they serve their carnal desire.
Right.
One example that I like to give is the Japanese. The Japanese, very creative, right? Everybody like anime and all that stuff.
Right.
But then I think we talked about this before. Like you watch certain things, you just kind of like, why did they put that in there?
Right.
Like, okay, I'm trying to think, what's up? I ain't gonna give a title, but I'll just give you examples. I'm trying to watch anime. A lot of brothers watch it because, of course, the fight scene, storyline,
right.
Like men like to watch, I guess, like warfare in a sense. We just like that. That's why a lot of brothers like Dragon Ball Z, all that stuff.
Right. But
then, like, you watch certain things, and you're like, why did they put that there? Okay, this is crazy. The title won't sound crazy as it is. There's an anime, it's called 7 Deadly Sins. That should be that giveaway after this. And in this anime, same thing, people power, all that stuff. One thing that I always found very disturbing, and I stopped watching it because of this. They do this weird thing where they'll have a grown man who is 15 years old or something like that, right? He's actually 15, but he has the body of a grown man. but then he'll be dating a woman who's 1,000 years old, but has the body of an 8-year-old. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, that gives pedo.
Yeah,
that's pedo. Like, why are you drawing? Like, you got to understand something. This is why there is no good thing in your flesh. They give into their carnal desires so much. You got to understand something. They draw this. They have animators that draw this out.
Right.
They have the machines, whatever they do. I don't know too much about that field of work, but they turn that animated into a cartoon that moves, do voiceovers for it, do lines, practice. And I'm like, you took time out of your life to put that on screen for millions of people to watch.
Right.
And I'm like, why can't I just watch y'all fight? Why you gotta draw this little girl being with this grown man, but then throw in numbers like, oh, well, she's really 1,000 and he's really this. So it's, it's technically, you're weird. You're weird.
Right.
That's my whole point. You're weirdos, because why did you even want to do that? Because in your flesh, there is no good thing. Whatever little sick carnal desire that you got going on up in here, don't serve that, because you're gonna die. If you don't die physically, you're gonna die spiritually. That's why you got some brothers who buy prostitutes, because in your mind, you just want a woman so bad you'll do anything to get her, even if it means sinning to get her. And then you buy this woman, that woman, this woman. Oh, now you got AIDS.
Now you got AIDS.
Now you got chlamydia. You got gonorrhea. You got syphilis. You got all these things, and now you wonder, why is this happening to me? It's because you gave into your flesh. You wanted it so bad that you were doing anything to get it. When I say anything, I mean anything.
Right.
Some of y'all, can I say this?
Yeah, probably.
It is what it is. Some of y'all so nasty. Y'all want sex so much, you don't even care what you have sex with.
Right.
Like the LGBTQ Israelite. The fact that's serving your flesh right there. He wanted so bad. He's like, I'm gonna go sleep with Transformers. Then you're trying to bring up precepts and try to convince everybody else what you're doing is okay. But you want to know why he's trying to convince other people what he's doing is okay? Because deep down in his spirit, he knows it's wrong. He knows. So he's trying to convince you.
Right.
That's why I mean there's no good thing in your flesh. Don't serve your flesh.
Right.
See what heathens do. Like
and if I may,
go ahead.
Harping on the topic, you ever done something you like, I should not have done it. In your lust, in your flesh, in that thing in your mind, you sisters, you definitely done it. You know you had a good man. Yeah, I know you sisters. Don't get it twisted. I grew up around women too. Y'all don't smell. You don't smell like roses. I can tell you that much. You take a number 2 just like everybody else, and it stinks. Let me tell you something. A sister know what she's doing to her man is wrong. She'll go do it and feel so bad. Where if she has any type of moral standards or compass, she would feel so bad. She would feel so ashamed after she's done it. Even before she's done it, she would say, "I shouldn't do this." Do it. Then after she's done it, she'll say, "I should not have done it." Mm-hmm. That's your flesh. That's your flesh. Your flesh is always fighting your spirit. That's always the war in your members. That is what Paul is talking about. There's no good deed in my flesh. What we do in here, this is how you know we're not of the world, because we don't serve our carnality. We don't serve our flesh. I don't do this because of my flesh. I don't wake up at 8:30 in the morning to get here to teach a class by 10. I don't go to camp every Saturday when I could be doing something else. I don't tune in to classes at 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock when I could have been doing something else because of my flesh. I don't not smoke marijuana because of my flesh. I don't go out here and treat women disrespectfully and do what I like to do with them and throw them away because of my flesh. I do that because of the spirit. Once you see the change in somebody, it's because of the spirit. That's why we want you to be spiritual. That's why we're training you to be spiritual. Being spiritual is not magic. You have to build up the strength in your spirit. The same way you go to the gym and build up muscles. That's a spirit. It's just a muscle, a spiritual muscle. You have to build it up over time. That's why we have classes every day. That's why we tell you to call brothers. That's why we tell you to call sisters. That's why brotherhood is a weapon. Sisterhood is a weapon. That is why doing the things of the Lord is a weapon. Because you're just working out. You're building a new routine. You're building a new habit. But a lot of people won't even get to that point where they build a new routine or a new habit. They will still serve their flesh. Think about a Christian. Christians know you're not supposed to eat pork. They know it. They read the Bible. Christians aren't just oblivious to what it says in the Bible. They know the Levitical law.
They'll still do it.
They will still go out and eat pork. That's not the spirit in them. That's their flesh. That's a routine that they have built up over years. Think about eating pepperoni pizza. It's just what you do. In your mind, it's just pepperoni pizza. In your mind, it's just a pizza. It's not even a pepperoni pizza. It's just a pizza.
And if I could,
yes, sir.
That's the demon right there.
That's the demon.
They condition you to think like, well, it's just this. Like another one. It's like I know. We ain't trying to get too off, but we really want y'all to understand like what we telling you. Another one is, I think this is okay. You know, I'm gonna say it. This might be uncomfortable for some people. I don't care. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna make you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Pornography.
Yes.
Let's be real. A lot of, I'm gonna say men and women.
Yes.
Have been raised to think that okay, it's okay. Why? It's how to get you because you're not harming you.
Right.
You're in the comfort of wherever you're at.
You're by yourself.
Yeah. You're by yourself. You're not harming anyone. You're not spreading diseases or giving yourself a disease,
right?
Or whatever. That's the thought process,
right?
And then when you really think about it, you are destroying yourself,
right?
I forgot the precept. It's when a man polluteth himself.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Definitely New Testament.
I believe that's in the New Testament. You know, when a man gives himself unto fornication, he loses his soul. I'm paraphrasing. There's a precept for that. But my point being is it slowly destroys you from the inside out. You don't think so because I'm just doing this. And then guess what? You do it one time. It's just
right.
Then you do it again. Then you do it again. Then you do it again. And I'm gonna say something. You know what's gonna happen? If you're a brother, you keep doing it, you know you're gonna suffer from erectile dysfunction.
No lie.
I'm so serious. I am. Y'all,
it's documented.
You could look it up yourself. You could hear from a doctor. You will suffer from erectile dysfunction. You 25. Look, ain't no kids here. So I'm gonna be real with you. You can't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or you can't keep it.
Right.
You about to get intimate with your lady.
And you're just flashing.
You know what that's gonna do? You're gonna it's a word for it, Salakia. It's performance anxiety. That's what it's called. It's performance anxiety because now in your head you start to think, what's going on?
Right.
Now you feel even worse because you're young. Too.
Right.
You know what your lady gonna feel like? He don't like me.
Type.
Now she's self-conscious. Now just with that seamlessly innocent act, it snowballed into something else, and now it's affecting your relationship with your woman.
Right.
Same thing for a woman too. I know this sisters, y'all, they sexualize women like ridiculously now. It's ridiculous. But now a lot of you sisters, y'all do the same thing too. And you'll buy a toy,
right,
and please yourself like that. Then you actually then you get a man, and it don't hit the same no more. Now you're so used to this
raging machine you bought.
Now you just he can't do what that do.
I can't.
It's like
can't.
You should have never got that. Now, guess what? Now your relationship is messed up.
Right.
Now you have trouble showing intimacy to your man. But it seems like it's
nothing,
right? That's a demon.
I got
to convince you. Slack, go ahead.
1 Corinthians 6:18.
Yeah.
Flee fornication.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read that again.
No, what?
Flee fornication.
Run.
Flee fornication.
Go ahead.
Every sin that a man doeth is without the body. Mm-hmm. But he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body.
There you go. Yep. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? You might not think put it like this. You might not think that you're damaging anyone else, but spiritually you're damaging yourself.
Right.
And you're not going to realize it until it's too late. Don't do it. I know we talk about what we're about to say. I'll say the Tower of Babel. We'll give the description after, but we got a little off topic, but we want y'all to understand these things. These are important things to know. You got to carry this with you.
Right.
Okay. You have to. I promise you. Because I guarantee you, after class, I know some people might be at work or whatever. There's going to be a point where you're alone.
Right.
And you might, look, I'm going to be real with you. You might be doing what you're doing on the low. You're watching this class. This is your sign to stop.
Right.
Fight it. Don't let the demon win, because you're going to be destroyed. You're going to suffer. And it might cause the suffering of other people around you.
And if I may, don't be afraid. And this is serious. Don't be afraid of reaching out to somebody.
No, for real.
Do not be afraid of counseling. Let me tell you something. Whatever problem you have, you're not alone. Here's the problem. There's only one problem in the world. The problem is you don't seek counsel because you're so embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed about a problem that you have, because you never know, the brother that you ask for counsel from or that you want to have a conversation about these things for may have already went through that, may have already overcame that battle. And you need to know how to overcome that battle. They would give you tips. They would give you an order on what to do. Hey, here's what you need to do. Every time you think about it, you need to go do 20 push-ups. You need to go get active in the gym. You need to go talk to more and more women. Things of that nature will get your mind off that. If you ever feel in a need, watch a class. Just turn the class on. Trust me, it's gonna go flaccid then. I can guarantee you that much.
Crazy.
If I may.
Crazy.
But and what he's bringing out again is what I say every week. The Bible is science. What he just told you, he just broke down science to you. If you didn't hear it, then you need to rewatch it. That's science. The snowball effect is science. What happens in your brain affects your body. Your brain is your biggest muscle. You're essentially telling your brain to lose interest in anything real. And what you see on the screen, you want to do that with some lady. Yeah, that don't happen like that, my boy. That's not real love.
Yeah.
That's not how you go on authority in your household, by being some freak. Don't be the freak is nasty. By freak, you know what I mean. Like, that's a freak. Don't be that. Don't do it. The bed is undefiled, but don't be that thing that you watch. It's like, good grief.
So yeah, you're at verse 7.
11. The book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 7. Oh, Salaki, if I may. Let me go to verse 6 again. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they began to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. What does that sound like? I've given this example before, and it's funny thinking about it. I told her about it. Yawasab and I had a conversation one day, and Yawasab and I was on the phone. That's Officer 5000. He is now in Arizona, right? In the Arizona school. And he said, you know what? If I was a sinner, I love America. And it made me think of this. Why? And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. You can do whatever you want to do in America. Why? What does it go back to? We're reading about it right now. The Tower of Babel. We're reading about it. The beginning of Babylon. We're reading about it. The virgin birth of the virgin daughter of Babylon is America. We're reading about it. Anything in your imagination in America you can do. Because what does America preach? That we're all one. That we're all one species. We're all humans. We should all come together. And because America has this thought process that everybody is equal, even though America shows you everybody's not equal, what happens is your imagination will be running to wickedness. You can't imagine the kingdom of heaven, because who cares? Because you want the kingdom right now. You're in your kingdom. You're in your kingdom of wickedness. This is what the Lord he foresaw that already. There had to be wickedness going on already for them to say that. He was like, hey man, if I let these people keep doing it over and over and over, they're going to get more and more and more wicked.
And look what's happening now.
Look at what's happening. There's nothing new under the sun. You can see everything now already in the Bible. That's why I told you, they're not dumber than you and you're not smarter than them. You are the same people. They did the same thing you're doing right now.
And you were here before.
You were here. You was in that. We all was in that. We all was here post-flood. So we all was up in that somehow. Somehow. So like,
no, you Tawab, if I could real quick, where it says, just kind of elaborate more like what you're bringing out. When it says, which they have imagined to do, this goes back to, well, early Genesis, where, of course, the Most High saw the wickedness in the world and, of course, flooded the earth. But then it also goes back to the other precept we brought out, Romans 7:18, where in your flesh there is no good thing.
Right.
Just like how you said, I think that's a perfect way to put it. How you put it is, this is modern day Babylon. Here you're taught to be, what they teach you? Follow the American dream. Follow your heart.
Right.
Your heart. We understand that your heart is really your mind.
Right.
So you follow your mind. You know, the Bible says, "Do not lean into your own understanding." So you lean into your understanding of things. Go ahead.
Mark 7:21.
What?
If I may, for from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders.
And now, what do you see today? You see murder. You see people dying all the time. Don't even get me started. What's going? Not even just in America. I'm talking about the whole world. Like y'all, of course, these are not our people, but just to show you the nature again, I think I brought this out last Thursday of how the earth has been given unto the hands of the wicked. Ukraine got bombed.
Right.
All right. That was a while ago. Now Israel, they working their way with Gaza and pushing them down. I forgot the name of it. Rafah. They're pushing down to Rafah. It's like this isolated area. They killing them, right? America is working to give Ukraine and Israel $9.5 billion.
Come on, brother.
But I'm like, but wait a minute. California has the highest homelessness rate in America.
What they tell you?
I think Flint, Michigan still ain't got clean water.
Still ain't got clean water.
You know, it's so sad I gotta say it like this. That's been a running joke for how long now?
Bro.
Like we say it like, oh yeah, they still ain't got water, but no, they really still ain't got clean water. How many years has it been? Too long. I'll tell you that much. I'm waiting for them to get it, but it's been too damn long that they haven't had clean water. We still got the whole again, just to show that we're not all created equal. Some people don't like it when so-called Mexicans. How long?
April 25th, 2014. I was a decade. Oh, a month away from a decade. And it's like, if I may, I know we get on topic.
No,
do you, every child, well, not every child, but I think it's been like a uprising of like 100 or 200%. The children that were born after the Flint, Michigan water crisis, they're special needs.
Oh yeah. I read about
They're
that.
autism, missing chromosomes. It's wild what is going, and they sending $9.1 billion. They still spending. They're still giving money to Japan for Okinawa and what's up? Nagasaki.
But they said that America in debt. We in debt, but we got $9.5 billion just laying around. So you can help them, but you can't help what's going on here because that's the lie that they gave you. Now, you know what? I'm not going to get to the next part yet. I'm going to explain how this is modern day. Okay, like we know this is modern day Babylon. I want to get into why the Tower of Babel is Babylon.
Right.
I'm gonna wait till we get there. You can go ahead.
Verse 7. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to get into.
Right.
So now the Most High recognizes, like how you brought out what's going on. There was a people that wanted to have their version of America, so to speak, right? They want to be in charge, and they want people to do what they want them to do. So, like, you know, there's no law where it says, now nothing will be restrained from then, which they have imagined to do. So they can just do whatever they want. You're free to identify with whatever. You could be non-binary, pansexual, demisexual, they, them, she, him, whatever, dog. I don't know. Whatever comes to your brain, you're that. I thought there was a community of people that really believe that their dogs, they get on all fours and start barking. I'm not making that up. I wish that was a joke. That's not a joke. I'm surprised. Actually, I'm not surprised. And that's what I'm about to say. I'm not surprised at this point. But the Most High is observing all this. And what did the Most High do? He decided, no. Let's confound the language. Confound means to confuse. Right? Confuse their language that they may not understand one another's speech. This is showing the spirit of the Most High. And the spirit of the Most High wants people to separate.
Right.
This is one of the many cuts in the Bible that goes over how the Most High does not love everybody. The Most High does not want you to be, well, we're just all human and we can all just come together. Guess what? We've tried that. We've tried that. We've tried to do what the heathens do. And time again, we have suffered for it. Put it like this, the fact that interracial marriage is a sin in the Bible should let you know that we are not meant to be with other nations. Solomon lost his whole kingdom because he wanted to sleep with Asian women and white women and African women. He lost his kingdom. This is, at one time, I would say because of course there's Christ, so the second wisest man that was recorded in the Bible. And he fell because he wanted to conjoin with other nations.
Right.
Samson died.
Come on.
Samson the strong, he died because he wanted to mess around with Philistine women. I believe it's in Deuteronomy where it literally gives you like pretty much don't sleep with Canaanite women, Hittite women, all that, so on and so forth. Right? Yeah, the Moabites. You can go to. You don't got to go to it, but I could bring up when we went to war with the Midianites and the Moabites. I believe it's in Ezra chapter 9, and the Most High put a plague on all of us, because and it says mixing the holy seed with these other nations. Holy meaning what? Sacred, separate. It's in the freaking word. Right. We're called a holy people, a separate people. And I'm gonna get some precepts too. I know you got some.
I can get you right now.
Are you
Deuteronomy 32:8?
32:8. That's exactly what I was gonna get to. Go ahead.
Y'all see where we at? When the Most High divided, read it again.
Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children for Israel. And if I may, verse 9, for the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
If I could, can you give me Matthew 25 and 31? We're just going to show you more precepts to show that this is the spirit of the Most High. He wants separation. Go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. Verse 32. And before him shall be gathered all nations.
So this is talking about Christ, of course.
Right.
Coming back, and he's going to sit on his throne, and he's going to rule over the whole world.
Right.
Now it says, and before him shall be gathered all nations. What's that?
And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
Is there any more on that?
And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left.
So again, Christ wants separation. God wants separation. So when we're going over the Tower of Babel, which I'm going to break that word down in a little bit.
Right.
Again, you're seeing the nature of the Most High. This is what happens when you don't have any understanding of the Bible. Christians to this day have been brainwashed to believe that we can all just come together. No, because the Most High didn't want us all being together anyway. Look what happened when we get together with other nations.
Right.
Just look. If you don't believe in the Bible, which you should, I don't know why you're watching this class if you don't believe in it, but just go out into the world and see what happens every single time one nation starts to conjoin with another. You brought out how what's going on in Africa, right?
Right.
Okay, the French, they go over there. You think they want to be friends with the Africans?
Come on, man.
No, they want their uranium, they want their gold, they want their silver, they want their diamonds. So what do? The same thing that Esau always does.
Right.
He colonized. I believe it's in the Congo right now. They're in slavery, by the way. They're in chains and shackles, like that type of slavery.
That's crazy.
Like how our ancestors were over here. They're in slavery now. They're not trying to be friends with them. And guess what? The Africans, like you brought out, they don't like them, obviously, because they're colonizing them. China, I believe it's more, I want to say it's like Northeast Africa. I believe they're somewhere in South Africa. I'm not sure the location. But again, China is going over there. I found this out a few months ago. And guess what the Chinese are doing? They are also colonizing the Africans. How are they doing this? They're bringing African children into their temples, and they're teaching them their martial arts. They're teaching them their culture, their language. Right. So guess what? I forgot, I don't know all their leaders' names, but some of the African leaders, they're upset because they're they see what's going on. And he straight up said, if this keeps up, there's not going to be any such thing as an African, because you know what he saw? Interracial marriages. A lot of the African men was sleeping with the Asian women, and now he's like, now there's this new race of people that are existing,
Right.
And he's upset. He's mad
Yes, he should.
because he's like, these are my people. These are my people. And now look what's happening to them. They're losing their way of life.
Right.
Because they are conjoining onto these other people. They're going with these other nations. That's why, Salakia, like you see some Asian people, they don't like black people. They don't like black people. Like they like what we do. But as soon as you bring up, oh yeah, like your daughter's about to go marry a black man now, guess what? They get upset. As they should. They should get upset because they're recognizing, no, my daughter, or sometimes it's not as common, but my son is going to conjoin onto these people. I don't want that to happen.
Right.
Because now they're going to lose their way.
Right.
They're going to lose who they are. They're going to conform.
Right.
Same thing how they feel about the white folk.
Right.
My whole point being is this was never supposed to happen. And you see the slow destruction of what happens to not just us, but every nation on the planet when they decide to conjoin on to a people that is not theirs. So, Lakia, what you got?
Precept. The book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Now, when these things were done, the princes came to me, saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites. Verse 2, for they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed, have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers have been chief in this trespass.
It says, wait, what was that last word you just read?
Trespass.
A trespass.
Come on.
Trespass is something good.
It's not a good thing.
That means that this is not good.
This is not
This
good.
is bad.
Right.
Most High was angry, and again, holy, 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 holy. You see this word how many times throughout the Bible?
I don't know.
People call this the Holy Bible. Separates. Right. So going back to, let's see, we'll finish up. Go to, you finished 7, right?
Verse 8.
So we're going over the spirit of the Most High,
right?
And what He wants, and what He wanted from the beginning, because Genesis is in the beginning, right? That's what it means. So you can go to verse 8.
Verse 8. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. And if I may,
go ahead.
I asked him this question in the car, and it made so much sense. I thought about it, but you always want extra confirmation of what you're thinking of how the precept is going. This didn't happen by day. It wasn't one day the Lord said, you know what, you're gonna speak Chinese, you're gonna speak this, you're gonna speak this, you're gonna speak this. That didn't happen by day. That happened through time. All this happened through time. The Tower of Babel is not a story that, even though we're reading it in 9 verses, does not mean it happened in one day. A city and a tower is being built. There were people, just like you got your clique in your city, your homeboys, and your homegirls, and how y'all do things over here, and other people do things over there, and other people do things over there. The Lord started putting a division of language through them, through time. Through, hey, we're going to use this is going to be our own little dialect. We're going to speak pig Latin. We're going to say something you're not going to understand. They're going to start speaking a certain way. The Lord put that spirit out there. They're going to start speaking a certain different way. Eventually, what happens is, now you have multiple languages. And what does multiple languages do? It creates a barrier. It creates confusion, which we will get into. It creates what? Separatism. That's what the Lord wants. He wants separatism. Language is the first thing. Why do you think Hispanics and so-called Negroes and blacks beef over? Because of language. Because they were conquered by the conquistadors, and we were conquered by English people.
Yeah, believe in North America, it was mostly the British colonies.
Right.
And then, yeah, like you said, the Spaniards, Portuguese, they went south.
And so now they speak Spanish because of that, and we speak English because of that. When we both were speaking what? Hebrew. We have the records. Los Lunares Stone, Los Lunares Rocks. We have the records of everybody speaking Hebrew. You can go look throughout their land. They have pyramids and they have tablets and stones with Paleo Hebrew writing on it. You come up here, you have stones with Paleo Hebrew writing on it for the Native Americans. You knew who we were. We knew what we were. We knew what we spoke, but we got conquered. The Lord knows to separate a nation. Best thing you do is confuse their tongue. That's it. Verse 8. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city.
So now, just real quick, right? Like you said, like this didn't happen overnight. People might wonder, okay, well, how? If we all spoke one language, then how did we just magically not speak one language all of a sudden?
Right.
Why is it that you go over to Africa, they speak this? Even in different parts of Africa, they speak different languages.
Right.
You go over to Indonesia, they have their language. You go over to Hawaii or Samoa or Fiji or any country, right? It's like, well, why is everybody so different now? How did this happen so quickly? Well, here's the thing, like you said, it wasn't quickly. We're reading that the Lord scattered everyone. Right? Over time, people start to separate, right? So now, just like how, okay, for example, here in America, people in California have their own slang, so to speak, right? Everybody speak English for the most part, but of course you have Hispanics as well.
Right.
But then you have your own way of talking.
Right.
California slang is different than Texas slang.
Right.
Texas slang is different than Florida slang. Florida slang is different from New York slang, so on and so forth, right? Because why? You're separate. Even with Hispanics, you go to the Dominican Republic, Dominican Spanish is different than Mexican Spanish, which is different than Puerto Rican Spanish, which is different from Cuban Spanish.
Portuguese.
Yeah, even the Portuguese. Portuguese isn't Spanish.
Right.
When you think of South America, you mostly think of a Spanish-speaking country. But in Brazil, from what I know, they mostly don't speak Spanish. It's actually a completely different language.
Right.
So they were conquered by the Portuguese. And even with that, Dutch, Dutch, British, Spaniards, Portuguese, all that, right? Those are all European colonies. But even with Esau himself, they spoke different languages. So how, though? By separating. Over time, when you separate X amount of years, hundreds of years, thousands of years, your people are going to form a different dialect.
Right.
Different accent, twang, slang, whatever you want to call it, right? So this didn't happen overnight. The Most High didn't just pick up everybody and was like, all right, throw y'all over there,
Right.
Now y'all speak different. No, it was over time. You lost the language over time.
Right.
That's all it was.
It's like, if I may, I was born and raised in Louisiana, 19 years of my life, minus a couple. Staying in Chicago, I come out here, I talk a whole different language. We have and that's only 19 years of my life down there. And I still keep up the same accent and conversation because I talk to my people down south. That's 19 years. Imagine 1,000 years. Imagine hundreds of years. Just imagine. That's why we tell you got to think logically about this. It's not one day. It's linear, but it's not a day. It's not quick. Nothing is made like that. Rome, what they say? Rome wasn't made in a day?
Yeah.
The separation of language wasn't made in one day.
Exactly. That's all.
Verse 9. Go ahead. Therefore is the name of it called Babel.
All right, so we'll stop right there real quick, right? So it says, therefore is the name of it called Babel, the Tower of Babel. Remember how earlier we brought out how today is modern day Babylon, right? And now at this time, this is also forming what was about to be formed into a version of Babylon.
Right.
Babel actually does translate also to Babylon,
right,
which means confusion. So you probably wonder, okay, it says, therefore is the name of it called Babel. Oh, you know what? I'm about to get ahead of myself. So go ahead.
Because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
So again, we said confound earlier, right? Confound means to confuse. The Tower of Babel means confusion. Why? Because the Lord wanted everyone to be confused. Y'all speak y'all language. Y'all do this. Y'all do that. Y'all do that. Why? So everyone can separate. That's all it was. And what you can take from this class is this. We need division. Not with our people, of course. 12 tribes of Israel need to stick together. But everybody else, let them deal with what they got to deal with. We got too many problems as it is anyway. We still fighting for our people to wake up and learn who they are, and it's working. But the thing is, Christ ain't back yet, so our work ain't done. You get my point? So yes, people get offended when we say, we don't support Palestine.
Right.
It's because, don't get it twisted. Yes, we have a heart. I'm not happy about what's happening to them. I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody. But those ain't my people.
Right.
I can't worry about the Palestinians when there are Black and Latino women in America that are being abducted and sold into sex trafficking. I have to worry about the Native Americans who are still being abducted off of reservations. We got to worry about the Haitian brothers over there who at once, I don't know how it is now, but we saw the videos and it was bad because their president got assassinated. And then guess what happened? Now all these, drug lords and all that stuff, they're trying to take over, going against their own people. And what the Haitians had to do to their own people to defend themselves, you would think, oh, that's inhumane. But it was that bad.
Right.
Okay. We still got to worry about the Mexicans down by the border. We still got to worry about the cartel. We have so much on our plate. We don't got time to worry about everybody else.
Right.
Because guess what? We've done that before. We have worried about everybody else. Just perfect example, feminism. Just not too off topic, but feminism was a white woman thing.
Right.
That was their thing. And guess what? Somehow they got Black women in it. And they made Black women feel like, oh, well, I'm not being treated equal. I should deserve equal pay and this, that, and the fourth. When sis, you forgot something. We weren't even viewed as human beings at one point. You're talking about you ain't have no equal rights. Sis, we didn't have rights.
Right.
Before the Civil Rights Act, we didn't have rights. You get my point? But we got caught up in what they did. We want to worry about what's on everybody else's plate. Just like how when Saul was made out of the Lord's anger. Guess what? We talk about King David, Solomon, all that stuff.
Right.
But there were a lot of wicked kings. Saul was made out of what? The Lord's anger, because we wanted to have a king.
Right.
Like everybody else.
Like everybody else.
We're the only nation that has a living God that we serve. But we want to do what the Moabites do. We want to do what the Midianites do. We want to do what the Mizraimites do. We want to do what everybody else did. And guess what? The Lord gave us that. And guess what? It was bad.
Right.
It was so bad that he had to make a new king. That's how bad it was. Because you want to involve yourself with other nations. Stop. Stop involving yourself with people that are not your people. Worry about what's at home. And like we brought up, I think not last class, it might have been the class before that. You want to save everybody? Okay, serve the Lord.
That's it.
There you go.
That's how you say it.
We brought out earlier, was it Matthew 25, 31 through 34, how Christ is going to come back and, sit in his throne and rule over the whole world. Okay,
right.
Yeah. Well, for that to happen, we kind of got to prove to the Most High that we righteous enough for Christ to come back.
Right.
Because when Christ rule over, guess what? There ain't going to be no more sex trafficking.
Right.
You get found out doing some stuff like that, you getting your head chopped off.
ASAP.
As you should.
Right.
Okay. There's not going to be any more drug lords.
Right.
There's not going to be smuggling children. There's not going to be any more mass genocide and all that. No. There's not going to be any of that because why? We're going to be in charge. We got to prove that we got to get there first. Because right now, yes, we in the truth, but a lot of our people are not in the truth.
Right.
They still Christians, Roman Catholics, atheists, Rastafarians, what is it? Muslims. Muslims.
I hate that.
Egyptology.
Oh, God.
All that stuff, right?
It's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I know.
Good grief.
That's all I got on that. You should take from this class that the Lord wants us to be separate, be amongst our people. And that was intended all the way from the beginning. We in Genesis chapter 11. We're not that far.
Right.
Really not. We still in the beginning. You already seen, this is the most I wanted. All right. Roll with it. Don't go against it.
Right.
Just don't. It's like, you got anything?
Nah, sir.
All right. So,
Okay,
like I said, for time's sake, let's end the class.
All right.
Water for everybody that tuned in. So.
Sure.